في لندن أخيراً نحن، وميسة هي أول مرة أنا بيجي على لندن.
أنا عارفة، وعشان كذا يعني كان نفسي أمس أوديكي وأخرجك، بس الصراحة مرة كنت تعبانة. دحين حنروح ناحية Buckingham Palace لأنه حنروح
House of Lords.
Yeah, we're going to the Houses of Parliament عشان حنقابل
البارونس.
What's her name?
البارونس ودين يمكن.
Okay. She's the first.
هي أول مسلمة في الهاوس اوف لوردز.
We're here in London at the House of Lords with Baroness Adine, and you and I have known each other for some time now. Really, I think after 9/11 we got to know each other, and you were appointed to the House of Lords in what year?
1998.
1998, and a lot of that had to do with your work with handicapped children.
I do have a son who's autistic, who's 27-year-old, and then I think my entire reason for my existence in the political arena was specifically because I was struggling very deeply about trying to get him his rights as an individual human being, you know. But subsequently, I mean, I was very privileged to have done a lot of work around women in our area, which is a largely Muslim-dominated area.
Well, it's interesting that, you know, it was your maternal instincts that kind of thrust you into politics.
Inevitably, I mean, in the area that I came into in England after leaving Bangladesh, coming here, I realized very much quickly that, you know, I was identified as a Muslim very early on. People said, who are you? You know, you look different. So what did that mean? And I think definitely my faith and the fact that I was a very assertive young woman anyway. I mean, I wasn't going to really take just quietly what they were going to hand down for my son. It's my journey to Saudi Arabia last year that vindicated for me what I was asking for my son, because it was for the very first time I went to see the provisions for children with autism and other learning disabilities, particularly with speech therapists and physiotherapists. I thought that what I was asking for was the right thing, and then lo behold, you know, God makes me see that this provision existed in Saudi Arabia for 20-25 years.
When you went into the parliamentary system and into the House of Lords, there's only a handful of Muslims in the House of Lords. Now I think there's 4.
In the Lords and the Commons altogether, there's, I think, 5 and 5.
5 and 5.
And are they men and women?
No, I'm the first
You're the only
one. I was the first one to be appointed, as it goes. Yes, that's right. I'm the only woman.
So you're the only woman.
Yes.
And one of the things about your work since your appointment is that you've had an immense amount of involvement in Muslim women's issues in the UK. And so what do you think are the primary issues of concern?
As a Muslim woman, I'm deeply proud, you know, of the advancement that we have made here. And I think that I've always said in the public arena as well as in a private conversation, as you know, that we need no lessons from anyone. We only need to look at the Muslim history. We need to look at Muslim world generically to see how many talented women around. That includes in the United Kingdom. And the other one, I think, also is that the vast numbers of unemployment belongs to the Muslim men. And I think there's a real issue about how much empowerment of women we have without taking on board the issue of empowering and facilitating our men. And I think that, you know, essentially our kind of feminism is alongside our family obligation, which is something I'm completely committed to. And unless and until I address the issue of my sons being empowered, it's okay for my daughters to be empowered. Absolutely, she has the right. But I think that she will be hampered because these young men who are not being empowered, leaving at the mercy of the dole for the rest of their life, they're going to marry these very powerful young women. What kind of family life are we heading towards? So there's a whole range of
And there's huge crises, isn't there?
Huge crises.
I mean, I think people don't realize how, because Fuad, I've talked with Fuad a lot about this, and Humaira and other people in the community who know the type of statistics that we're looking at in the UK Muslim community. Our divorce rates are very high amongst the Muslim community.
You know, one of the other things that I think there's a very significant fallout from is that the kind of Muslim women that we have in the public arena are women like myself who are arguing that, we can achieve equality, we can have participation within the Islamic context, maintaining our family life. We are not rubbishing Islam, we're not rubbishing our family life. As soon as you do that, you become the favorite. You can get all the publicity you want, you can get all the best jobs.
If you attack Islam.
If you attack Islam and if you attack, your family life.
And look at how many women since 9/11 have really just become very prominent, best-selling books. They have invited to all these places that in normal circumstances they would never have gotten in, but because they're attacking Islam, and so the women that are like yourself and others that are like committed to their Islam, and it's really
and to their career, because I mean that's what reaction do you get then when you try to commit to Islam and commit to your career and your family?
Well, I think what it means essentially is that you can do all of those things, because people like myself, we've done it. And I've been so fortunate that I've traveled so many parts of the world where women are doing that.
Yes.
There isn't a recognition of that in public arena. I mean, I've been very blessed that I have, incredible amount of support from my family. Otherwise, that would not have been possible.
To some degree, in the West, there are women that have achieved that level where they're respected as an individual, and it's not just, oh, she's an amazing CEO for a woman. Do you see what I mean? So we have a long way to go just in terms of recognizing competency, excellency, all these things, that these are shared human capacities.
I think that's what we've got to try and acknowledge, because what we mustn't do, and I think that Muslim communities tend to do that rather a lot, is ghettoize themselves into a little kind of a corner where you are then cornered, cornered by all sorts of things, and because world events are so phenomenal that we have no control of. So I think that we've got to speak not only to ourselves, but we also got to speak to the wider community.
I personally, I'm really convinced that we need the Muslim woman's voice here in the West distinctly, because so much of the attack is based, they're male problems. We become quite bestial, and much of we call it rape of the earth. I mean, it's very interesting that we use that term, Mother Earth. Well, women don't rape, women are raped. And the Prophet ﷺ called the earth, in a hadith that Imam Tabarani relates, he said, Inna hadhihi al-ard ummukum, this earth is your mother, فَلَا تَظْلِمُوهَا, so don't oppress her. And the whole position of the mother, and that centrality in our faith of the position of the mother, the fact that the centrality of Khadija in our faith as the first, not only material support, but consolation, spiritual support for the Prophet ﷺ. She gave him spiritual support. I mean, that is how do you spiritually support the best of creation? I mean, the one who's reintroducing spirituality to the world, you know, in its pristine clarity and purity. But that's the role that she played, and that's the woman's role, you know, giving that shelter from the storm that we tend to forget and ignore as men. And you know, for me, that goes with re-educate, and that's why the mothers again have that role with the children.
Well, you
because
have a
so
daughter,
much,
I think, also
so much of these,
I have one daughter, four sons.
So much of these stereotypes are perpetuated through the mothers themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Essentially, you know, I became, I suppose to a certain extent, the ghetto that the West has got us all into the corner of saying, defending Islam or defending, you know, Muslims. I don't want my daughter to do that. I want her to be saying,
presenting Islam.
She is, you know, when she goes somewhere, like Lubna, I want her and others to know she is Muslim already, but that she is who she is. And that will be our struggle.
Well, there you go. And thank you very much for allowing us to have this time with you. I know you're really busy these days. And we wish you tawfiq and success in all that you do. And
thank you for coming my way again.
We're always there for you.
Take that as
What is your perception of women and Islam? When you think of those two words, what comes to mind?
Strict religion, and really religious, and strong religion, and lots of praying, fast, and different lifestyle.
I just think they're women who follow a religion.
Yeah, and the clothes, like you look,
Well, when I see a woman with a headscarf, I usually assume that she is Muslim. Although there are a lot of Russian, it always depends how the headscarf looks like. You usually can tell what kind of religion or cultural background that person is from.
Most of the time, women are quite covered, face, head. Sometimes you can only see their eyes.
Well, when you see someone like me that's wearing the veil, what we call the hijab, and wearing long sleeves and things like that, what do you think oppression, or what do you think? What comes to mind?
I feel sorry because especially it must be hot. That's the only thing. I feel sorry. Yeah. But sometimes I feel like I want to try. Everybody has a choice. I believe that if you would want one day to take your scarf off and have a short sleeves, I believe you could.
Do you think that women in Islam, in maybe some Muslim countries, or just in countries like the UK, do you think that they're oppressed or they have their rights?
Probably no. I don't know. In Muslim world, men kind of more powerful than women. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but it's just like it's come across like that.
Like the guys could do whatever they want, but the women were more like, no, you can't do that, which I find a bit sad.
Due to the fact that the Western females are emancipated from their cultural point of view, I find it discouraging for them, yes, and quite sad.
I think some women in some countries are suppressed and they don't really have the rights that they should have. But, you know, I'm from Greece and, you know, in Europe it's different, so I don't know, that's just my opinion.
I think they have their own freedom in their own way. As long as women happy to be like in this kind of relations, I think it's fine.
I just think everybody should be happy, and if even within Islam women want to follow the rulings of Islam, if that's what's right for them, then that's how they should live their lives.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. It was very nice to meet you, Ada.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, take care. Bye.
It's بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مرحبا واهلا وسهلا بالاخت الكريمه منى ابو سليمان، وانت ما شاء الله اصبحتي من اعلام المملكه العربيه، الكثير يعرفونك والحمد لله. انت ما شاء الله لك عده مجالات تشتغلين فيها، فقبل ان ندخل في الحوار ممكن تعرفين؟
أعمل الآن طبعا في كلام نواعم في الMBC. المشكلة إنه الرجل ما بيتعود في عالمنا العربي إنه كيف يأخذ ويعطي، مو بس فقط مع زوجته، مع أولاده، مع زملائه، مع أصدقاء، في علاقة بتكون.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next stop will be Bankside Pier. There isn't anyone there for us. Does anyone want to get off at Bankside Pier?
All right. Anyone want to get off? Yeah. Bankside Pier.
Yeah. Right now. فالعلاقة أصبحت مريضة، وهذه ترجع للتربية، والرجل اللي بيكون جريء واللي بيكون واثق من نفسه واللي أهله بيربوه
وعدم وجود الصبر.
ما في صبر، ما في صبر.
الناس ما يصبرون، يعني وجعلنا بعضكم لبعض فتنة أتصبرون. هذه آية سبحان الله من أعجب الآيات في القرآن بالنسبة للعلاقات البشرية، أن الله هو جعلنا بعضنا لبعض فتنة. يعني مثلا المرأة فتنة للرجل والرجل فتنة للمرأة، يعني هكذا. فالعلاقة إذا ما عندي صبر على زوجي، أنا الحمد لله لا أحتاج، لأن ما عندي صبور وعندي
الحمد لله
امرأة، يعني هي ما عندي هذه المشاكل.
ما هي زوجتك بمساعدتها ليك تقدر تخليك أنت توصل للمكان اللي أنت واصل فيه، سايب أهلك الآن وأولادك، وهي أنت واثق تمام الثقة إنه هي بتاخذ بالها منهم وبتربيهم أحسن تربية، وإنك ما إنك محتاج تكون متواجد، إنه هذا كمان دورها. في رجال ما يقدروا يثقوا في زوجاتهم لأنه زوجاتهم بيكونوا للأسف اتعلموا إنه أهم شيء في حياتهم إنهم تو لوك جود.
بس في برضه لا ننسى، لا بس قصدي في لا ننسى إنه في كمان نساء بيستطيعوا إنهم يعني أيوه بيستطيعوا إنهم يوفقوا بين الاثنين.
وأسهل لما تتعلم
لكن
وأنت صغيرة.
التركيز على الظواهر الذي أنا أشاهده في كثير من النساء، التركيز على الظواهر وأهمية الشكل وملابس وهذه الاشياء
والساعه والشنطه والنظاره واشياء كثيره. هي طبعا المراه تحب الاشياء الجميله، هذا جزء من انوثتها، لكن احنا بناخذه
والكل يحب الاشياء الجميله ولا يعني؟
لا الرجال مو كثير.
لا حتى الرجال ما في اشكال، نعم، لكن ما يكون الشيء الاساسي في حياه الانسان. المشكله حينما انا اعيش لهذا الشيء، يعني حياتي مثلا أحب شيء إلي أن أخرج إلى المول وأشتري وأستهلك. هذا المجتمع المستهلك الآن consumer society
وكثير يدخلوا في دات، يدخلوا في حتى في بعض يقترضوا من المال. المشكلة إنه عشان إنك شكلك يكون حلو معناه إنك طول الوقت في السوق تشتري عشان تواكب الموضة وشكلك يكون ممتاز، معناها لا تنتج شيء آخر.
تعرف أن في أمريكا 15 مليار دولار فقط في الشعر النساء.
ايوه
15 مليار
15 مليار دولار 15 بليون دولار.
هذه تحل مشكلة الجوع في أفريقيا.
والمرأة سنتين ستقضي في حياتها في تربية الشعر، إذا عاشت مثلا 70 75 سنة، سنتين أمام المرأة، سنتين
عشان تتظبط.
لا مو حتى لو محجبة لازم تسرحي شعرك كمان يعني صراحة.
طيب بس انت خروجك منى، انا يعني طبعا دحين انت خرجتي وقررتي هذا القرار وله صدى كبير، واكيد انك اثرتي في حياه بنات كثير شباب السعوديات بالذات، لانه الصوره اللي عند الكثير عن السعوديه انه البنات ما بيعطوا فرص زي كذا وما بيطلعوا بهذه الصوره في الواجهه، انت الان في الواجهه، فكيف رايك انت؟ يعني هل انت واعيه للتاثير اللي اثرتي فيه في البنات هذا، وهل جاكي صدى منهم، سمعتي منهم ايش
الحجاب؟ انا صراحه انا دخلت بنيه الحجاب يعني حقيقه، وكثير من الناس اول سنه لما بدات البرنامج كانوا بيقولوا لي ازواجهم ما يرضوا انهم يتحجبوا، فصار بعد كده يقولوا لي لو تتحجبوا زي منى انه شكلكم عادي مودرن، مو شكل للاسف يكون
هذه مشكله
ما هم متقبلين. المجتمع ما يتقبلوا مجتمعهم مثلا،
كانه تخلف يعني سبحان الله.
فممكن بس هذه
الحجاب فعلا اصبح عند الناس تخلف. وشيء آخر، الرجل نفسه مظلوم في كثير من العالم العربي، هو مظلوم خارج البيت. فللأسف كيفما تكون يعني في حكاية لا أدري يعني مدى صحتها، لكن في حكاية أن الحاكم في مصر زار سيدة نفيسة بنت الحسن الشريفة المدفونة من التابعات. فهو ولما دخل عليها هي قالت لما، فهو رد عليها كما، ثم سلم وخرج. فجلساؤها سألوها إيش معنى هذا الكلام؟ قال أنا سألتها لما ظلم، فأجابني كما تكون يولى عليكم.
هذه بالمرة كلمة حلوة شيخ يوسف، كما تكون
يولى علي. تفضلتي في البداية عن اللوم، نلقي اللوم على الآخر. أنا لما قرأت القرآن بحثا عن اللوم، أنا أردت أدرس قضية اللوم من القرآن. أنا وجدت هناك لائم واحد، شيطان، هو الوحيد الذي يلقي اللوم على الآخر. أما وكذلك الشياطين من الإنس. كيف دخلتي في MBC وكيف كانت مثلا انطباعات الأسرة والوالد؟ أكيد لأن هذا صعب.
الوالد صراحة يعني هو ما كان يفضل إني أدخل في التلفزيون. إحنا عائلة جدا برايفت، جدا شديدة الخصوصية، وكثير من السعوديين خصوصا أهل مكة كده نحب الخصوصية، فبالنسبة لهم كان صعب. بس مو إنه عشان حرام ولا عشان وجه المرأة، لا، هو كتقدير شخصي، تقدير شخصي فقط.
والعرب كان يقولون الظهور قصر الظهور.
بالضبط. فدخلت الميديا بسبب انه انا ما كنت اشوف انا على التلفزيون، ما بشوف واحده محجبه عاديه يا في شيء ديني فقط يا انه في مسلسلات تاريخيه،
لكن في الاخبار وفي الحياه العاديه.
واحنا المسلمات محجبات.
وهذه من اسباب، اظن من اسباب نجاح كرام النواعي.
الله يخلي.
نعم. والله اظن هذا، لان المشكله انا بالنسبه لي اصبح الدين الاسلامي كأنه شيء خارج الحياة. عندنا حياة ثم عندنا دين، يعني نحن دائما ننسى. والله هذه مصيبة كبرى. الدين غير طبيعي. It's not a natural thing anymore. يعني هو خارج الطبيعة. فمثلا امرأة محتجبة في الأخبار، إيه ده؟ يعني ليش هذه؟ كيف هذا قناة دينية أم شيء؟ يعني أصبح فعلا شيء كأنه غير مألوف.
Anyone on London Bridge? There isn't no one. We'll carry on straight by until we get to St Catherine's.
Oh, St Catherine's.
What is your perception of Muslim women?
I think that Muslim women have got a lot of respect for themselves and they're very well respected.
If you had a husband that was going to tell you that I'm going to marry another woman and you know who she is and everything, but I'm going to marry someone else, would you rather have that, or would you rather have somebody that didn't tell you anything but had possibly multiple partners that you didn't even know about?
Definitely, I'd go for the truth, but I would definitely leave the guy. If he'd go and marry another woman, I would not accept that. But I'd rather go for honesty. I think it's I'd rather him tell me, and then I'd dump him. But I'd rather him tell me.
You cannot ask me this question. I wouldn't have any of them.
It depends if I'm allowed to have multiple partners as well, sweetie, to be honest.
Okay.
You know, all's fair in love and war.
Thank you.